So Foo Fighters have a new album coming out, so I thought I'd try my hand at ranking their albums. I'm going to go from oldest to newest. That means starting with Medicine at Midnight, which unfortunately means starting with probably one of the worst. It's like they tried to capture dad dancing and put it into audio form. I'm just not backing this album at all. Don't like the disco vibe, and the songs just aren't really there. So for me, this is like squarely in the F tier. Concrete and Gold, on the other hand, features some really decent production, maybe one of the best produced albums that they've done. I like what they're kind of experimenting with backing vocals on a lot of the tracks. The songs Run and Sky is a Neighborhood, quality. Sunday Rain's pretty decent. I'm kind of partial to any song that Taylor takes the lead on. But yeah, I don't get much from the deep cuts, so for me this is like in the D tier. Sonic Highways, to be honest, musically it's not much better than Medicine at Midnight for slightly different reasons. It's just kind of forgettable, kind of corny, but they do get points for the concept. The documentary was pretty cool. They should have just left it a documentary, so I'm putting this in the E category. Then we have Wasting Light. Wasting Light is a banger. That's a late career highlight from the band. There's great riffs, great songs, everything feels cohesive. It bridges the gap between that stadium rock and hard rock bar band, but like in a good way. Even the song I don't like that much, Miss the Misery, because it's kind of like a little bit cheesy guitar effects and riff and stuff. It's still pretty good. It's a banger. That is a great album. I'm putting it in the A tier. So then we have Echo, Silence, Patience and Grace. This came out in 2007, and it was kind of when I was a Foo Fighters nutter at that point. I mean, 2007, I was like 15 years old. They were like the first band I probably got into. Would just tell everyone that, oh my god, did you know that he used to be in Nirvana? Like, all of that shit. I was obsessed. 2007 is where I start kind of like actually getting into other bands and kind of finding different things. So kind of started falling off. I didn't think that it didn't coax me back in. The Pretender is unquestionably a banger. It's probably one of their best songs. I'm partial to Long Road to Ruin and But Honestly as well, even though they're kind of corny. But yeah, for me this album is pretty meh. I would put this in the D category with Concrete and Gold. Then we have In Your Honor. This like the electric album, acoustic album, double album thing. The acoustic album would have been A tier on its own. It's really, really good. But the rock one is like D or E tier, really. I mean, obviously Best of Views on it. That song is what it is. It's kind of a classic single. But it sounds like their heart was just really set on the acoustic stuff, and that's where their passion was. And you can tell the rock album is just, I think it's just churned out. So I'd put this in the C category, like the two things kind of just balance each other out. One by One, this is the album like nearly broke the band, right? They were nearly split up during the making of this. And obviously we know All My Life and Times Like These are the classics, but it's got some amazing songs on there like Low and Have It All. My main complaint is that there's actually just a lot of squandered potential here. I think when you get to songs like Halo, Lonely As Me, Overdrive, they're cool songs, but it just sounds like they rushed them towards the end. They're quite repetitive, even though like the core song is pretty good. So I put this in the C category as well. Next on the list is Nothing Left to Lose. Solid record. I know it's a fan favourite. Really good production. Got classic singles, obviously Learn to Fly, Breakout. But for me, it's like the deep cuts, like Headwires, 8 in the Life, Give Me Stitches, really good. Like a lot of Foo albums, it kind of trails off towards the end. But it's great. I would put that in the B tier. Then we have Colour and the Shape. I don't think Foo Fighters have delivered a classic album, as in something that's like in the overall pantheon of like rock music as a classic album, but this is about as close as they've got to it. You know, it's got the grit, but it's got the anthems. Personally, I kind of hate My Hero, but you know, it's got some great deep cuts. Again, like this, not just riding on the singles. You've got My Poor Brain, Hey Johnny Park, Wind Up. you could make a case that if you relegated like New Way Home and Walking After You to B-sides and made the track list a little bit leaner, it might have been more critically well received. I don't know if that's true, but anyway, I'm putting this in the S tier. You can't deny it's, banger. And then self-titled Foo Fighters, the album by the guy from Nirvana, I guess, which is what everyone would say at the time. It's the record that started all. It's distorted, it's grungy, but it's great. The songwriting isn't as refined as it would get like just 1 hour album later on Colour and Shape, but it's great. There's just raw, unquestionable songwriting talent on display. Exhausted was the first song I learned to play on guitar. I just absolutely loved it, and it was like the first time I was like, wow, one person can make a whole album. So I would put Foo Fighters in the A category. Let me know what you think. I think if you're a Foo Fighters fan, you might be a bit pissed off with this ranking, but let me know.